What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. For those of you who don't know me, I am James Daniel from James Daniel Coaching. I am an online personal trainer. I work mainly with shift workers, mainly police officers. Again, I was an emergency service worker for over 7 years, and now I work full-time as an online personal trainer. And again, I mainly work with shift workers, police officers, fire service, doctors, nurses, you name it, flight attendants. I've worked with them, I still work with them. So in this video, I'm basically going to go over the importance of scale weight, how to track scale weight, and things to look out for when tracking scale weight. So let's dive into it. Okay guys, so let's just jump into it quickly. Hopefully there wasn't any lag there with this starting. So this is one of the sheets that I use with all of my online clients so that we can track their nutrition, so they can track their hunger, sleep, soreness over the course of the week. Again, it's mainly shift workers that I work with, so we do track their shift pattern along the side as well, and look at that and compare it to the daily weights as well. Okay, so over the course of the week, we want to be taking an average weight. If we weigh in once a week, then obviously the weight can fluctuate massively. So let's say, for example, we weighed in here at 184.87, and the following week we weighed in at 186.24. Now, if we were to look at that, we'd then think that we'd potentially failed over the course of the week, or that we'd put on roughly 2 pounds of body fat over the course of the week. But I will dive into this with you just now so that you can start to understand it. So let's say this weight here was on a day off. So we've had 2 rest days here, and we were then back in for night shifts. So let's just say we were night shift, night shift, night shift, and then off, and then off for the last day. So the following week we could then be potentially coming in for a back shift. So let's say we're in here for a back shift, and back shift, and we'll see that we're off for the rest of the week, which again is not going to happen, but we'll say that we're off for 4 days, so we get 4 rest days after the back shift. So looking at this here, we then look at this and think, okay, so we've got 184.87, and this week we're 186.24. So what's happened? Why have I gained weight over the course of the week? So that's why it's so important to take an average weight over the course of the week, especially if we are working shifts, because it's not going to be constant. It's never going to be constant. Sleep's always going to be impacted by the shift and the time of shift, the time that we're waking up and the time that we're weighing in. So again, on the days off, let's say we have a 184.76. So again, the weight's dropped slightly because we went from one day off to the next day off, and this is given that we're in a weight loss phase. So night shift, again, sleep could have been impacted. We might be up at 185.62. The next day we might be again 185.62. Obviously going into the last night shift, pretty tired, pretty fatigued. Let's see, we're potentially sitting at 186.0. Okay, so 186 dead. We've then got 2 days off. Quick turnaround from the night shift into the day off, trying to have a couple of hours sleep and then get up. So we've not had a great night's sleep, we've not had good quality sleep. So again, let's say we're up at the 186, and then the following day we could be at 184.62. Okay, so this is what we want to focus on. This number here is the average weight over the course of the week. It's extremely important if you do work shifts to track this average weight over the course of the week and only compare the average weight week on week to track progress. Okay, so again, going into the second week, we're back shift. Let's say we're 186.2. Back shift again 185.43. So you'll start to see that weight will start to come down, and then going into the days off, let's say we're 185. The next day we are 184.22. The next day we are 184.21. And the next day we are 184. Okay, so looking at that, then you can understand that we have actually lost weight over the course of the week. The weight loss would probably be more than this, but again, this is just an example that I'm using. So if we were to take the 184.7 from week 1 and then compare that with the 186.24 from week 2, if we just took 2 weights, which again, a lot of people ask, a lot of other coaches ask clients just to take one weigh in over the course of the week, and it's completely irrelevant, especially if you do work shifts, because it can fluctuate 1 to 2% on a daily basis, and even more than that if we are working shifts. Okay, so let's say we go from 184.87 and we think, right, okay, we're at 186.24, we've failed, we've messed up, we then give up on the diet, and again we get back into that kind of phase of spinning the wheels, essentially not getting anywhere, not making more progress, and then looking for the next kind of quick fix to make progress. Okay, whereas if we then look at the 185.3 over the course of the week, we can see from the 185.3, although we had a slightly higher weight at the start of this week, we've actually dropped weight on average over the course of the week. Okay, so again, this is something to bear in mind. This is extremely important, especially if you do work shifts. Starting to be aware of patterns as well. Certainly when I worked shifts, my weight was always
at least 1 to 2 pounds heavier when I was on an early shift. My weight was always the lowest when I was on night shifts and days off, and back shifts it was somewhere in the middle. But as long as we track that average weight over the course of the week, we can start to see the progress from there. If you guys have any more questions on this or anything, you can follow me at James Daniel Coaching on Instagram, or just reply to this video, drop a wee message below. I'm happy to go into it in more detail. Again, that is my job now, is to help shift workers actually make progress and start to really feel confident in their physique and make really, really good progress in the gym. So again, that's why I'm putting these videos up. If you guys have any questions about them, just drop me a message.
Okay, so hopefully you've managed to watch that and understand a wee bit more now about weighing in, taking your scale weight, and understanding how to track progress. So as I've kind of touched on in that video, the main thing is to start understanding the trends of your own personal scale weight. Your sleep pattern may change depending on the person as well. Certainly for myself, I always struggled to get to sleep on an early shift, and then the fact that I couldn't get to sleep made me more stressed out about trying to get to sleep, and again had an impact on my sleep, which wasn't ideal. So my weight was always heavier for early shifts, and it was always the lowest on days off and night shifts, because I could get quite a good sleep in before a night shift. So it's understanding those patterns, start tracking them, start tracking your daily weight in alignment with your shift pattern as well, and then look for those patterns of change as well in there. So a lot of times, let's say we were to work a 9 to 5 job, we'd probably wake up at the same time each day. So say if you woke up at 7 o'clock to get ready for work, you'd step in the scales in the morning, take your weigh in, and that would be it. So if we're working shifts, if you get home from a night shift at say 8 o'clock in the morning, you work till 7 o'clock in the morning, don't get held on, and then you get home and you maybe get home at 8 o'clock. We don't want to step on the scales at 8 o'clock in the morning. You want to go to bed first. So go to bed, have a sleep, have as good a sleep as you can, wake up, take your weigh in. So ideally taking the weigh in your underwear after you've been to the toilet and before you eat or drink anything. So instead of doing the weights in the morning, take the weights when you wake up, and that's the best way to take a kind of consistent weight over the course of the week. So if you guys have any more questions on that, like, feel free to drop me a message on Instagram at James Daniel Coaching. I'll pop the link in the description below. I'll also pop the link in the description below for my ebook, which is completely free. It's called the Shift Survival Guide, and it pretty much has everything that you guys need to know to get started on your kind of fitness, weight loss, muscle building journey. And again, it's completely free, so you can click the link below and download that. Any questions, let me know, and I will speak to you soon. Cheers.